This is Lewis Arthur, Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted today to be joined with, as ever, Dev Sahni. Mate, it's been busy for you today. I'm the last one, but I've never seen someone do. You've done a lot of media today. I've never seen you do so much.
I don't mind doing it. I think I like talking about boxing. I like talking about the Queensberry shows. I like talking about boxing in general. If people ask me questions, I'm going to answer it. I'm going to give you my opinion, and obviously, you know, it's good fun. And look, I've been busy here in Telford. It's a big fight week in a big fighting city. This has become a fighting city now, Telford. Some people are calling it the new home of British boxing. I mean, those people are mainly from Telford, but it's good to be here. And Liam Davies will bang this place out on Saturday night at the Telford International Centre, and it's a big fight for him. Big fight, make or break for Jason Cunningham. It's a big night.
Well, we'll just start firstly on the presser. You didn't really have to do much of a job today. Sometimes you really need to sort of push the boat out a little bit to really. I remember seeing a few pressers that you've done, and you really tried to push the boat out, but you didn't have to do that today, and there was no need for you. I think you probably knew that going into it. Yeah. They're both ready to go on Saturday night.
100%. Look, I had questions ready. I had stuff I was going to ask them and that, but I didn't really need to do much, as you said. It's sort of like opening statements and then let them go, and they really did. And Liam Davies is great at these press conferences. He really sticks it in. He looks down the eye of the person he's fighting and he tells them what he's going to do to them. I mean, that's the sort of thing you dream about as a sort of press conference host. It's brilliant. Good fun today. Good needle between them. There was one comment in particular which, amused me a lot, where Liam Davies said he received a Instagram message from Jason Cunningham, and in that message it was a video of him running, threatening to smash his head in, and Liam Davies took that personally. I love that. I love that he took that personally. For me, it seems like a bit of fun, but took it personally. He's taken it to heart, and now he's apparently going to take it out on Jason Cunningham. Says he's going to stop him.
Well, this is a fight that we've been looking at for so long, and I said to Liam, I asked him a question, and I don't know if you feel like this, but do you feel like Jason's been there, he's done it, he's seen it all, you know, he's been at this level so many times, fought his professional fight. Do you look at this as a passing the torch in a way?
Look, it's a passing of a torch if Jason Cunningham wants to give the torch up, but he's got no intentions of giving up that torch. You know, sometimes you see fights where a fighter is at the very tail end of their career, and then the next guy coming up and they have that fight, and it's like, oh, this is the new guy now. Jason Cunningham's not ready to be that guy. He never lost those belts in the ring. In his mind, he's looking over at the British title, the European title, and he's thinking, they're actually mine. And there's no reason for him to not think that either. Is it a passing of the torch? No, I don't think so. I think this is a very intriguing clash. Jason Cunningham is always written off. He's got it tattooed on him, the underdog that never lost hope, and he's got a great chance to stop all of Liam Davies' momentum. But for Liam Davies, big chance to make a statement. You know, he beat Mark Leach. Do you know how difficult it is to beat Mark Leach? He beat Mark Leach after an amazing run that Leach was on. Beat Baluta as well. And difficult to beat as well. Very difficult to beat. Look, and he's just beaten Andrew Kane Baluta as well. I think in Davies you've got one of the most underrated fighters in the country. He's 13-0, British champion. He's been English champion, European champion. He's doing it properly.
And another really good undercard. We see the return of Moses Talma. But one thing I did want to touch on was Ethan James versus James Morecroft. Another big chance for James Morecroft with Ethan James, who his career, his pedigree, he's only getting higher and higher, and another big step up for him. Yeah, look, James Morecroft comes to this fight with momentum. He just stopped Nathan Bennett. The only guy that stopped Nathan Bennett was Dalton Smith, and James Morecroft did it quicker than Dalton Smith, so a bit of a statement. It's clear that he can punch a little bit. Ethan James has no stoppages yet in his career, but has looked slick largely, and he thinks that he's going to be a stronger fighter at this weight. Very intriguing, and it's one of those things where you've got someone from a white collar background in James Morecroft and someone from a very decorated junior amateur background. Will it make any difference at all? I don't know. I think Ethan James has got someone who's going to come towards him, try and take his head off. Let's see if his boxing skills are enough to see him through. Just mentioned there, Moses Talma back out. One thing I wanted to touch on was, I saw your tweet yesterday talking about his podcast with George Groves, and I was interested in it anyway, but it made me even more interested in listening to it driving up this morning. And such a great story, and it's one that not many people really hear. But I'm sure you'll sort of share the same opinion in me, that not just him but Carroll as well, which is a real sort of like an underdog story in a way.
Yeah, look, you got to listen to this this podcast that he's done, and there's moments in it. So I've listened to it on my drive up as well to Telford. You just sort of get goosebumps. He said something about how Carroll, as the older brother amongst the brothers, makes the mistakes for the younger brothers and tells them, look, I've made these mistakes so you don't have to. That's normally the sort of thing like a father would say, but Carroll's saying it to them, and I think it's a beautiful story, and the fact that they are where they are right now is already a huge achievement, and it's nowhere near where they're going to end up. And yeah, you know, the next chapter of the Talma story is Saturday night. He takes on this Kevin Espindola fella who, the only man to take Ivan Ditchko the distance. He took Sol Dakers the distance. Only Fraser Clark stopped him on an injury. All these guys, these heavyweights, these prospects are way older than Moses Talma. Talma's taken these guys on at 18 years old. It says a lot about his ambition and a lot about the belief that Queensbury have in him and he has in himself as to where he's going to go.
And with Talma, we saw on Friday another prospect, as you mentioned there, Matty Harris, getting stopped by Talma's previous opponent. So when he's fighting these guys who, how careful does he have to really be? Because you never know, he could be on the end of an upset. So especially after the Harris loss, it's always sort of food for thought for him.
Yeah, of course. Look, he's got a lot of eyeballs on everything he does now, because he's had all this fanfare of turning over and being called the future of the heavyweight division. You know, the spars with Joe Joyce when he was 15 years old. He's got all these stories. So he's got a target on his back. It's not just another fight for these people that are coming over to fight him. They'll be looking to make a statement, and Espindola will be looking to stop Moses Talma on Saturday. It's going to happen. It happens with any backed heavyweight prospect as they make their way through. They got a target on their back.
Just pushing on a little bit. Yesterday we saw the announcement of the undercard for Joe Joyce versus Zhile Zhang, the rematch. We saw a lot of big fights discussed. The return of Anthony Yarde, Sam Noakes is back out, Pierce O'Leary, Alois Jr. We'll start on Anthony Yarde versus Ricky Summers. Is it a get back for Anthony Yarde, would you say now?
Yeah, look, I think so. I mean, it's not a complete. Any fight that you take after Beterbiev, unless it's Bivol, is going to be a huge step back. Beterbiev is that good, so I think this is kind of like a welcome back, Anthony. Congratulations on your brilliant performance against Beterbiev. Let's go again. And this is a chance for him in front of a brilliant crowd and to make a bit of a statement and say, look, I'm back and we're going to go again. And Ricky Summers, by the way, has never been stopped. He's got momentum as well. It's not just some pudding that Yarde's got in front of him. It'll be it'll be a nice scalp for Yarde to pick up. And yeah, I think he's won the hearts of the British public for that performance. We've seen so many British fighters over the years step up to elite level and just do enough to lose or go missing, feel the power and sort of keep away from it, try and get to the finish line. But this was a guy who stepped up to the elite of the elite and fought back as hard as he could and had his moments in the fight. And I think that's what we like as a British public. We just want our guy to fight back and give it their all, and he did that.
100%. We'll go back to this fight week anyway. I said I'd done an interview with Anthony Crolla, and I was just saying to him there about I'd never seen a fight week like this. We won't see a fight week like this for a while, of so many big fights. Not only just Saturday night, not the TNT Sports doubleheader, but on Tuesday we saw Naoya Inoue stop Stephen Fulton. I mean, we'll just touch on that. The man just gets better and better by every performance, no matter what. And he was in there with an opponent who, you know, I thought would we had a very, very good chance of beating Inoue, but Inoue made it look so easy.
Yeah, I don't think I gave Fulton a round. Like, he landed a handful of good shots, but nothing to really deter Inoue. And the whole idea was that Fulton could potentially outbox Inoue, right? I don't think there was danger of him stopping Inoue. It was his route to winning was going to be to outbox him, to move around, keep away from the power. But Inoue outboxed him. He outboxed him and he beat him up and then he knocked him out. It was a truly stunning performance and a pound-for-pound number one, I think, that we're looking at there. It seems to be this era's Manny Pacquiao in terms of flying up through the weights, starting down very, very low and carrying your power up through the weights. think people thought maybe super bantamweight could be his ceiling, but now is featherweight going to be his ceiling? Is it beyond that? Is it super featherweight? How far does the power carry up? I don't know, but I'm very excited to find out. And, you know, people, I saw Stephen Espinosa was talking about a potential fight with Tank, right? I wouldn't rule it out. Like, it's £13, okay? Look, you can say that's an awful lot, but you just never know. Height-wise, there's not much in it between them, and I'm sure Inoue's got room to get stronger.
And then we'll touch on Saturday night. I mean, after we've just watched a great fight between Liam Davies versus Jason Cunningham, listen, don't be going to bed, because you need to be staying up, because Errol Spences will take on Terence Crawford. I never thought I'd say that it's fight week for that fight, but it's here, and it's something that I'm sure we all so can't wait for, and especially as boxing fans, this is what we wanted, and we're finally getting it now in 2023.
At last. And look, what a start for TNT Sports, right? Not only have you got a terrific 4-title tear-up in Telford and the future of the heavyweight division in Moses at Talma, then you head over to Vegas, from Telford to Vegas. How often do you make that journey on any broadcaster? Yeah, we're doing it on TNT Sports. So, yeah, look, it's a fight I've been calling for, looking forward to. Glad it's finally here. They're not past it either. It's perfect. They're both in their primes. It's happening at exactly the right time. I love it. I can't wait for it. And you know, I've seen people talk about how it's a 50-50 fight, and then everyone just picks Crawford when they say it's a 50-50. Like, what do you think? Do you think Crawford or Spence?
What's my top? Look at the top, mate. What's the top?
Yeah, Terence. Yeah, so he's your man. I think Crawford will win it as well. It's quite surprising to me that no one is really picking Spence. Like, I haven't really heard anyone pick Spence, but I think Crawford's performance against Sean Porter is the one that got everyone thinking, okay, you've just knocked out a guy that Errol Spence didn't knock out, right? And you've looked damn good doing it. So we can't say that he's not
different
naturally at the weight.
Different, sort of 2 years apart, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. But look, he's still Sean Porter in there, right? And you can say different times, and you can also say different times about the Kell Brook. You know, Spence got a hold of different versions. So I understand that side of the argument, but for me, it dispels any myth about about Crawford potentially being too small for welterweight, the way he deals with someone like that.
What do you make of Errol Spence potentially this fight, his last, being at welterweight, sort of saying he wants to move up to 154? Do you feel like the weight could potentially be a big factor for him going into this, and especially a rehydration clause?
Is there rehydration?
I'm pretty sure I did see it there was.
Really? Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that. I've not heard anything of that. Could the weight be a factor? Yeah, look, he's clearly the naturally bigger man who's been cutting down to make this weight for many, many years. He's been a welterweight, I think, for his entire career. You know, and Crawford's come up from like lightweight, super lightweight, now welterweight as well. So, yeah, maybe he's tight at the weight. I don't know. I think that's his... if he is to come up short against Terence Crawford, that's the clear next step. It's too big for it anyway, look, and it's time to move on and get another world title. Yeah.
And with this, whoever wins on Saturday night, and we see it on Tuesday as well after Inoue's win, have we ever seen a more competitive spot for pound number one, with so many names being brought out there? You've got Usyk, you've got the winner of Spence Crawford, then you've got Inoue. Have we ever seen it, and even Canelo, you could still make an argument, have we ever seen it this competitive for a pound number one spot?
For me, it was like, for so many years, it was Mayweather, right? And then it was like, oh, but is it Pacquiao? And there was a moment where Mayweather retired, and then Pacquiao, you know, got to that point, and that's why everyone wanted that fight. I think Roy Jones was pound for pound for a long time before that as well. Now Canelo's had a good spell. There's been talk of Usyk, but yeah, for me it's probably Inoue, but it's very, very competitive. And I asked this question before when Usyk was generally seen as the number one pound for pound. What happens if Daniel Dubois beats him? What does that do? Does Usyk stay above him pound for pound because he beat Gassiev? Or does Dubois get it for knocking out Alexander Usyk? Like, I don't know. And also, I struggle to see heavyweights in the pound for pound anyway, especially for my issue with Usyk being up there and, you know, pound for pound ahead of Fury is that Usyk's competing in Fury's weight division, but Fury starts as a favourite in that fight. Fury's the man. I think that's collectively agreed at the weight.
But what do you base pound for pound off? Is it based of skill, resume? Because I think if it's based, one of them based off resume, I think when you look at Usyk's resume, it's full of elite names and an elite road warrior as well. So I suppose it's what do you base off a pound for pound list?
It's what do you base it on? Like one of the things isn't it meant to be like, oh, if everyone's the same size, then this person would win. But then it's like, if everyone was the same size, like you take away the way they box, their attributes. I think it's often a myth. But one thing for sure is that Lomachenko will always be in there. That's what we're seeing with. He's always popping up in the rankings, isn't he?
100%. Well, we'll move on. We literally just about to we just touched on it pre of the interview. Eddie Hearn came out and made comments about Anthony. Done interviews today, made comments, obviously talking about Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou, and said that Anthony Joshua wasn't interested. He was interested in becoming a heavyweight champion again. I don't like to do the he said, she said, but how would you react to them comments when you hear that about a Queensberry fighter? Where do you believe that AJ is sort of interested in chasing legacies with not interested in sort of fights like Ngannou?
I think there's two things here. I think that Eddie Hearn was clearly talking about making a fight between Francis Ngannou and AJ. He went on the MMA hour talking about how what a big fight it would be, but he could fight Fury as well. But he was hyping up the fight for sure. And this idea that AJ turned it down sounds like a kind of a narrative of a promoter and a fan base sniping from the sides because there's a huge event that they're not involved in. I think there's a bit of that, and I don't think you can say no, he's interested in becoming the world heavyweight champion because he was offered a shot at the world heavyweight title. He's been offered a shot at the world heavyweight title twice from Tyson Fury. Instead, for his own reasons, whatever, but he's pursuing fights with guys that Tyson Fury has knocked out recently. Non-title fights. So I don't know how you can say, no, he wants to become the world heavyweight champion again, and then your next fight's Dillian Whyte. He wants to become world heavyweight champion again, then the fight after that's Deontay Wilder. Tyson's just knocked both those guys out. Tyson's offered you the fight. You get a lot of stick for saying anything sort of anti-AJ. I'm seeing his mates ring into TalkSport now to defend him as well. But yeah, look, factually, he's turned down world title fights to pursue non-title fights with guys that Tyson's knocked out. So, don't give me that.
Oh, Twitter are going to love that one, mate. Just a couple more from me. We saw the news that Ohara Davies, former Queensberry fighter, has signed with Golden Boy. Was it good to see Ohara back on track now and potentially sort of one fight away from a world title?
I love OD. OD's the man. And I think he's had a great story. He's had an up and down career. I think he's fully out from under the bus now, right?
Definitely.
From the bus to LA, Las Vegas to go to Golden Boy. I say good luck to him. I say congratulations, Ohara Davies, and there's no doubt in my mind he'd beat Rolly Romero if he manages to get that fight. If Romero takes it, he beats him, and then we've got another British world heavyweight champion. I think the world is his oyster right now, and it's good to see. I know he's had a lot of stick over the years, but he has a good heart. And I think he acted out of character at times to play the villain, but he's always had a good heart, and it's good to see good things happen to good people.
Absolutely, I definitely sort of second that. Me being around OD as a person, I think, so misunderstood in a way, definitely. But literally last one from me, and it's been talked about a lot, especially recently in the limelight, a lot about influencer boxing, where we saw, initially the first week we saw the Kingpin with the woman lifting her top up, which is, I'm sure the Zone love to see that. And then we saw the week after an incident where with a guy throwing sausages at a Muslim man from Modine. And this came with a lot of scrutiny in our influencer boxing. From a purist point of view, there's always a lot of scrutiny and there's always a lot of criticisms. But then when you see things like this, and the argument is always that, oh, look at the eyes that's getting on the sport. But eyes seeing things like that, I'm sure that you second that it's unacceptable to see.
Yeah, and look, this thing that I'm about to say, you won't hear leave my mouth very often. I agree with Eddie Hearn, right? He talked about how this stuff should be booted as far away as possible from, the real boxing. And look, I agree with that. Well, I saw a headline recently, female boxer, after what she did, but she was referred to as a female boxer. So for the millions of eyes or whoever who see that article, just scroll past it, they're probably saying, oh, that's what female boxing is up to. If anything, they're not trying to differentiate between what influencer female boxing is and actual female boxing is, and it's not good. And the chucking sausages at the Muslim, like, just, what is this? Like, what are we doing? It's so crass, and I just hope they clean their act up and sort it out, because yeah, we just don't need that in this sport, and didn't like it.
And one thing, I think you've done a tweet about it, and you said about media channels covering it. Mm-hmm. Do you think collectively as a more that's in a negative perception where we see media pushing it out there and pushing this content out there which really shouldn't be seen? Do you think that people need to sort of take more accountability in a way?
Yeah, look, I think that's part of the problem of trying to distinguish between what influencer boxing is and what actual boxing is that there's a lot of actual boxing, like YouTube channels, media outlets, covering the influencer stuff. So say you are subscribed to one of these channels on YouTube, you're scrolling down there, all the actual boxing stuff's getting mixed in with the other stuff, right? And that just adds to the problem for me. But they're not gonna stop doing it, because it gets clicks and it gets views, and everyone needs to eat, and that's the route that they're taking to do so.
Absolutely, and I promise this is the last one from me, because I know I've kept you for quite a while. We saw on the weekend Maxie Hughes have the ultimate dreams, go to America to fight George Kambosos, something that he's worked so hard for, and the opportunity, the performance got taken away from him from a very, very controversial scorecard. Another thing, just your reaction to that. I mean, the 117, 111, what was your sort of reaction to all of that?
I'll be honest, I haven't watched the whole fight. I've just seen clips, and I've seen the uproar. It looked like Maxie boxed well from the clips that I saw. But yeah, look, the general uproar seems to be that he was robbed out there. Maybe they'll do a rematch, maybe they won't. I don't know, but I think it's one of those where, as much as he hasn't come away with the win, it's one of those moral victories, and maybe Shakur Stevenson will go after Maxie Hughes. I don't know. Maybe these guys at the higher end of the lightweight division will seek out a fight with Maxie Hughes in order to do a better job and get the moral victory over the guy that should have beat Kambosos. It could lead to some doors opening for him.
Absolutely. Well, I'll call it here, Dev. We've been here for 22 and a half minutes, lots of topics covered, and it's been good to chat to you, mate. I appreciate you taking the time to speak to me, and I'm
trying, mate. I've got to stay for my Medway pal, so yeah.
Exactly, mate. Exactly, and also, I didn't say it, Luton Road got a shout out on that podcast as well. Big up Luton Road.
I don't know about big up Luton Road, but yeah, it was interesting. Moses at Talma shouted out Luton Road. Yeah, never go there.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Dev Sahni, thank you for your time. Always appreciate it. And I'm sure we'll be catching up soon. Thank you, mate. Cheers.